Hello everyone, this is Mary Ann. Here is a video that I have been meaning to do for a long time. This is about my typewriter that I have had since around 2001. I was still very much pregnant with my son Chandler, and I was in this surplus shop in Naga, and then I walked in and saw that there was this typewriter on display outside of its case, and it cost 3,000 pesos. And then I went back home, and then I thought a little bit about it if I was going to purchase the typewriter. I tested it out in the store and everything worked. And then I could not stop thinking about it. I could not even sleep. I kept really thinking about it. And then I decided to go ahead and purchase the typewriter, I think, the very same day. And on the way there, I remember myself praying that nobody else has purchased it yet in the meantime that I was still thinking about whether to purchase it or not. So here is the typewriter. It has always been with me wherever I lived, except for that one time in 2015. But ever since I purchased this, this has always been with me, even though I don't use it every day now. There was a time when I used it every day for several years. You have already seen the case of the typewriter. It is already worn down, and it has four metal feet at the base of the case, and the hinges have already rusted so badly, but they still function. That is the side of the case. And if the case has held its shape through all these years, it's only because the case is made of actual wood. It's not made of cardboard. It is made of wood, and it has been wrapped in some leather-like material that is actually not leather. At some point, this case had a key to it, but when I purchased it, it did not have a key. The two buttons on the side just need to be pressed inward. And here is the typewriter in all its glory, and we will be looking at that typewriter up close later on in this video, but for now let us look at the inside of the case. It has this tag that says Olympia Portable, and then there is a series of numbers and letters, and it also has a quality control tag from a Philippine firm, and the name of the inspector is called Emil, and there's another series of numbers there. It has these two tiny, I don't know what you call them, tabs or protrusions. They're made of metal, and it has rubber wrapped around it. It's to keep the typewriter in place. These are the hinges. You've seen them earlier on in this video, and this is how they look from inside of the case. You simply wiggle the top of the case back and forth while pushing down until the hinges come off, and it has a little peg, a round peg on the top of the case that go into the hinge slots at the bottom of the case, and that's how you keep the case together. Actually, this way you can also use the typewriter without having to take it out of the bottom of the case. And here is the typewriter. The keys are made of plastic, but the body is made of metal. The keys are a very, very dark gray, and the markings on them are not painted on. Those are inlaid with a white material. And it has a red and black ribbon, and those are the original metal spools that came with the typewriter when I purchased it in 2001. Typewriter ribbons are still easily available in the Philippines, and they're very affordable. They're not hard to find at all, so I guess I am lucky. All the keys work, and that is the return lever, and that white thing is the lever that you adjust if you want your typewritten piece to be single spaced, double spaced, or if you want to use 1.5 line spacing. I'm just trying out the lever, trying to remember which one is the single space, which one is 1.5, and which one is 2. On the right side of the typewriter, there is a button, a metal small lever that you push in order to release the carriage so that you can push it easily from side to side. You can pull out this little thing so that you can rest the paper on there so you can easily see what you're typing as you type longer and longer on the page. And this thing is a stopper for the paper. You can reposition when you need to. Now let me talk about this little thing that you see here. This is not there when I purchased the typewriter in 2001. This is a recent damage that was accidentally done to my typewriter in 2015. The only time that I didn't have this typewriter with me was in 2015. That other one too, what happened on the same day as the other one. I was moving out of my apartment and somebody had to pack my things for me because I was very, very sick. And I didn't really pay attention to how they were packing this typewriter. So they packed it the wrong way. They packed it upside down inside the case. So that was in July or June or July of 2015. And then when I saw the typewriter again, it was December. And then I opened it up and I saw the damage and I was really heartbroken. And I did apply clear nail polish on it just to prevent the areas from rusting over. I was really, really afraid that it was going to rust. But now that I am looking at it again, I can see that it did not rust over. So I'm really, really glad. I really want to keep this typewriter for as long as I can. Now, there are these two levers on the side of the typewriter. I'm going to show you later what they are for. I'm going to have a little demo of what they're for and how they work and how to manipulate these. I have turned on the flash of my camera so that you can see those levers better. It has a little upturned edge that you can rest your finger on. The way to use those is you press down on them with one finger and then use the rest of your fingers to lift the entire typewriter from the base of the case. And this is how those levers look. As you can see, they have springs connected to them, and it's actually the release mechanism for the typewriter. I have never oiled these springs and this lever. I never felt the need to. I don't see any rust at all. And those four circles are where the feet of the typewriter rest. So the 4 feet on the typewriter actually fit perfectly onto those four circles. And that little tab right there is something that has a definite function, and I will show you later. So here is the typewriter without the base. As you can see, it doesn't have a floor of its own. You can see the surface of my table right underneath the typewriter. It has these chrome-like detail on the side, a little bit like those old muscle cars from the 1950s, the Thunderbirds with the chrome accents on the side, kind of like this typewriter. And this is the back of the typewriter. It has a metal plate on the back that says Intercontinental Trading Corporation, 90 West Street, New York. And there is a hole right there below that metal plate. And I will explain what that is for later. And I have done my research with this typewriter, and I think that this probably dates back to the late 1950s. That company no longer exists, by the way, but it existed in the late 1950s. And here we have faded letters that say Made in Western Germany. Here is how the typewriter looks from the back. You can see the mechanism of the carriage. Those are metal sliders that have notches on them for precision, and those black things are for the margins. You can set the margins manually for the left and the right. And you can even see markings on the slider where you can figure out how far in you want the margins to go. I have checked, and these are in inches. I have turned on my flash to be able to show you the underside of the typewriter. That black circular thing is the foot of the typewriter. The large screw beside it is not the foot. This circular one is the foot. And here we can see all of the springs that are connected to the keys and to the actual type bars that are inside the typewriter. And there's the other foot of the typewriter. And here is a closer look at all of the springs. And that would be the serial number of the typewriter. It's 98187. That's what I used to research how old this typewriter was. And here is the underside of the front part of the typewriter. There's the other foot. Here are the underside of the keys that you press on. They are connected to the springs that are in turn connected to the type bars that actually strike the paper. It's a little bit dusty. I have to clean it. And there is the fourth foot of the typewriter. Now we are going to try to type on this typewriter. I have here a sheet of scratch paper. Now, when writing on a typewriter, you should always use two sheets, one on top of the other, not just one. But because I'm just trying this out for now, I'm not going to be doing any heavy typing. One sheet is enough. And I'm going to turn on the original sound of the video that I took while narrating so that you can really listen to how this typewriter sounds when we are typing on it. I have pressed down my right thumb on that lever that allows me to slide the carriage smoothly from left to right, and as you have just heard, the bell still works. That is the bell to warn me that I am nearing the end of the page, so I should just finish typing up that word or place a hyphen and then press the return lever. And I can adjust the margin by reaching out to the back of the typewriter. It's kind of awkward, but for the most part, people were able to make do with doing that. That is how the typewriter sounds when I am typing on it. Moving the carriage from left to right, using the return lever. And when I am rolling the paper on the cylinder, that's how it sounds. And that's how the typing sounds, really. It sounds very, very good. I'm typing hello using the black part of the ribbon. That white lever that you see on the right part of the keys are what you use to choose whether you want to use the red part of the ribbon or the black part of the ribbon. Now I'm using the red part of the ribbon. I'm typing hello. I am a typewriter. My brand is Olympia. I type with only 4 of all of my 10 fingers. I haven't really been trained in typing. But that's how I type. I type very fast, even though I am using only 4 fingers out of 10. I've been using this typewriter a really long time. I used it heavily for many years. There I am using the levers to adjust the spacing between the lines that you're typing. So I typed single spacing and then I adjusted the lever to 1.5 and then I typed 1.5 spacing and then I adjusted it again and I typed double spacing, and that's how it looks. 3 different kinds of spacing in one typewriter, which you can adjust. Here is how the page looks after typing. As you can see, the type bars still leave a pretty good impression on the paper. And that ribbon has been on there since 2015, I think. It hasn't dried up. Ribbons for typewriters are often have some bit of oil to it, so that helps in preventing the ink from drying out. And now we're going to put the typewriter back into the case. Remember that hole that I told you about? That is what it's for. It slips right into that tab at the back of the bottom of the case, and you just push it down until you hear a sound, and then the typewriter is very secure. As you can see, it doesn't fall off even if I tilt the base of the case. Do this one more time with sound so that you can hear what it really sounds like when you press down the typewriter and it locks into place. Everything just works together to keep the typewriter in place on the base, like those 2 levers, the notches for the 4 feet, and that little tab that slots right into the hole at the back of the typewriter. And let us do that again. As you can see, the hole slips right through that notch at the back. And the typewriter is very, very secure inside its own case. And now all we have to do is take the top or the cover of the case and slip those 2 pegs in the hinges that I showed you near the beginning of this video. Slip those pegs into the holes on the hinges of the bottom of the case, and then press down on it, and the typewriter is locked inside the case. The entire thing is very, very, very heavy. I weighed it using my weighing scale in the dorm, and the weighing scale says it is 8.4 kilograms, which converts to about 18.5 pounds. Like I have already mentioned, this typewriter has always been with me in all the homes that I have lived in Naga, in Violago homes in Quezon City, and then in Project 8 also in Quezon City, and then to my first apartment in Makati, and then to my second apartment in Makati. And then when I was very sick, this went into storage for about 6 months, and then after that I took it, and it is now living with me in my dorm. I am also going to link down below a video of all of my archives in which I show some of the journal entries that I have written using this typewriter. Let me know down in the comments if you have a typewriter, and how you use it, and if you use it every day, and what you like most about it. Let me know, because I am honestly very, very curious who still uses a typewriter these days. I know there has been a resurgence of typewriters because of the scrapbooking community, and We Are Memory Keepers has just started manufacturing typewriters for scrapbooking, but I don't think that those are like the typewriter that I have, that comes from the late 50s, and it's made of all metal and made in West Germany. And that is my typewriter. I hope you have enjoyed. I will talk to you in the comments, and I will upload another video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!